If you're tired of renting and want to buy your first home but are unsure of what plans to use or what government incentives are available, the First Home Savings Account is the answer to all those questions. Once you are done with this video, not only will you be equipped with the knowledge of how to save thousands of dollars in taxes along your journey to buying your first home, when you go to open this plan, you'll probably know more about it than the financial advisor that is opening the plan for you, unless, of course, that financial advisor is me. I'm Sam. I'm a certified financial planner in Canada. In 2020, and that seems like ages ago, my wife and I bought our first home. We used the RRSP homebuyers plan. Now, to understand the First Home Savings Account, you have to understand the RRSP homebuyers plan. You can put some money into your RSPs without the government being able to touch it for tax purposes. By putting your money in an RSP, you're essentially lowering the amount of tax that you'll have to pay over the course of a year and simultaneously saving for your retirement. It's a win-win situation. So if you were to make a $10,000 contribution to an RRSP, you would generate tax savings of about $4,000 or 40%. If you're making $100,000 or more. If you're making less, you would generate tax savings of anywhere between $2,000 to $3,000. The catch with an RRSP is that when you take the money out to spend it in retirement, you get taxed. So in summary, to put it in, you get a tax savings, and to take it out, you get taxed. The government will get their tax back on an RRSP. The only way you can avoid getting taxed immediately when you take money out of your RSP is if you use it to buy your first home or go back to school. Now, we're gonna touch on going back to school in another video, so make sure you subscribe if you wanna see it. Now, let's walk through the RRSP home buyers plan. I'm going to get to the First Home Savings Account. We're just gonna take a minute to go through this first. Each eligible person or eligible home buyer can take $35,000 out of their RRSPs and utilize it as the down payment towards their first home. The catch with the home buyers plan is that you have to repay the money over 15 years. Think about it like an interest-free loan that you're taking from your RRSPs. If you don't pay it back over 15 years, then that amount becomes taxable to you. Now remember I said with RRSPs, the government always gets their tax back. Well, if you don't repay it, they will get their tax back over the next 15 years. The First Home Savings Account is way better. It has all the tax-free withdrawal characteristics of a tax-free savings account, yet it has the tax savings characteristics of an RRSP. So let's walk through an example of how this works. Jack and Jill are planning on buying a home in 5 years. They have about $80K saved in their low interest savings account with their bank. So they're talking to each other and they say, hey, this new First Home Savings Account sounds good. Let's go to our financial advisor and open the plan. The financial advisor informs them that they can only put a maximum of $8,000 per year into the plan. So they think it still sounds like a great idea, so they go ahead and put $8,000 each, or a total of $16,000 into the plan. Both Jack and Jill have now created tax savings of $3,200 each. Why? Because both of them make over $100,000 a year, so any contribution going into the plan creates a 40% tax savings. Now, they know that they won't get their tax refunds until the next year, so they're wondering what they can do to make their money grow in the meantime. Their financial advisor informs them that they can invest their money in ETFs, stocks, bonds, or mutual funds, or simply their bank's low interest savings account. Knowing that their home goal is still 5 years away, Jack and Jill decide to each invest their $8,000 into a low risk ETF portfolio. So 2024 rolls around and they're thrilled because now they get their tax refunds and they get to redeposit that money. They choose to put it in their tax-free savings account. So now they have $16,000 plus any investment growth in their First Home Savings Account and $6,400 between both of their tax-free savings accounts. That's a total of $22,400. They decide that because it was such a good result for them, they're going to repeat the process over the next 5 years. So let's fast forward to the next 5 years. In total, after 5 years, they will have contributed $40,000 each towards the plan. Remember, they started with $80K. They're just divvying it up between the two of them, each into their First Home Savings accounts. In this example, the First Home Savings accounts provided each of them with $16,000 in excess tax refunds, simply because the contributions are deductible. That means instead of the $80,000 they originally started with, they now have $112,000 to buy their first home. That's not including any investment growth within the plan. If you have the option to contribute to an RRSP or a First Home Savings account, and you know that the money that you're putting in the RSP is going to be used for short-term goals like buying a home, the First Home Savings Account is a way better plan. I've attached a reference here as to who is an eligible first-time home buyer, but in short, you have to be over 18 years of age. You cannot have owned a home or have lived with your common law spouse or partner in a home that they have owned in the past 4 years, unless, of course, you are recently divorced. In that case, you are eligible as a new home buyer again. Now, what about those of you who have already been saving in your RRSPs in anticipation of utilizing the money towards your first home? You can actually do a tax-free transfer from your RRSP into the First Home Savings Account. Now, you are still subject to the maximum amounts of $8,000 per year. But even if you're buying in 2023, having some $8,000 go from your RRSP to the First Home Savings Account will still be better for you than just taking it all out under the RRSP Home Buyers Plan. Why? Because you don't have to recontribute the portion you take out of the First Home Savings Account. And for those of you who are thinking about this, no, you do not get a second tax deduction for contributing the money to the plan. Now, both you and your partner can contribute up to $40,000 into the plan, but you can only do it to a maximum of $8,000 per year, meaning if you can afford to save $8,000 per year, you will have to wait 5 years if you want to maximize this plan. Now, if you're a great saver and a high income earner, yes, you can max out both your RRSP and your First Home Savings Account, which means each of you will have a total of $75,000 in eligible tax-deductible contributions towards your first home. What about if you're a new immigrant to Canada? As long as you have permanent residency in Canada, you are eligible to open a First Home Savings Account, provided all the other eligibility requirements are met. Now, this part is extremely important, and I promised I'd come back to. Even if you do not plan on utilizing the contribution room of the First Home Savings Account the first year you're eligible, you should still open the plan. The reason being is because unlike a TFSA and RSP, you do not simply start accumulating the $8,000 worth of room when you're eligible. You only start accumulating the room when you open the plan. So it's important that even if you're not planning on using it, you do open the plan as of April 1st. Lastly, the age limit. Lots of people think that the age limit of the plan is age 40. That's not true. It used to be in the original material that the government set out about the plan that you had to be under age 40 to use it, and that's not the case anymore. You can now be as old as 71, and if you're an eligible first-time home buyer, you can still use the plan. This plan will be eligible to be open on April 1st of 2023. For more financial literacy content, make sure you click like, share this video, and subscribe.